Well, a very good afternoon to you, Ben. The first group of demonstrators, that is the NASA demonstrators, led by the ODM chairman, John Mbadi, and a couple of members of parliament affiliated to NASA, has just been dispersed. I'm coming to you live from the GPO roundabout, and they started their demonstrations from parliament as they headed, they tried to sneak their way to Anniversary Towers at the University Way, but police could not allow them, and they were tear gassed, and they dispersed. Apparently, they were using their vehicles and they were not on foot. I think it's a strategy that they have adopted, but we understand that the police have firm instructions not to allow the NASA demonstrators to enter into the Central Business District. Remember that the acting Interior Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, stated that demonstrations have been banned within the CBD in the three major towns, that is Nairobi, Kisumu, and Mombasa. And we also understand that there is another group of demonstrators accompanied by their leaders, this time round the Senator for Siaya, James Orengo, and the former Machakos Senator Johnston Mudhama, and we understand that anytime from now they will be coming from Parliament Road, coming and trying to access the Uhuru Highway and to Anniversary Towers. But we will be waiting to see how the police will handle that. I remember that a few minutes, like 10-15 minutes, the team was dispersed and they drove as they were heading to Waiyaki Way. But we understand that in a couple of minutes they will be regrouping and then back to the CBD as they try to enter the Central Business District and stage their demonstrations, Ben.
Chris, you mentioned that some of them have been in their vehicles, but from what you've been able to see, what are the numbers looking like? Have we seen hundreds of them like we've seen in the last 3 weeks?
Well, Ben, what I can tell you is that police have adopted another strategy. This time around, the strategy that they're using is that they are not allowing a group or a crowd of people to walk together or sit somewhere together. What they're doing is that if 3 or 4 people are together and found by the police, they are being dispersed or asked peacefully to go home or either go on with their business without maybe idling around the CBD in a group. And so the numbers that we've seen is not the large number that we've witnessed on Friday last week. And the vehicles, there were approximately 6 vehicles, and some of their supporters and their bodyguards were hanging on them as they were driving from Parliament heading to trying to access a University Way, but unfortunately they didn't manage as police lobbied tear gas to disperse them. And we'll just be waiting to see whether these numbers will be increasing, but what we understand is that they are somewhere regrouping before they come back to the CBD, Ben.
Chris, what about outside the CBD? Any activity?
Well, outside the CBD, Ben, you know that in Nairobi County, there are some of these constituencies which have been affiliated or touted to be affiliated to the opposition NASA. For instance, Kibra, Kawangware, Mathare, areas, of course, Embakasi East. There are areas that we have NASA supporters, and these are the areas that these supporters come from when they come for the demonstrations. What we understand and what has been taking place is that police have already have already parked their vehicles around those areas. That is around Ngong Road. That's we're heading to Kibra, Kawangware around the Yaya Center, and of course the area of Mathare that is along Thika Road. What the police are ensuring is that there will not be any big crowd that will be walking from these areas to the CBD. And what the NASA supporters have done, it's a strategy they've also adopted so that they can manage to access the CBD. What they're doing is that they're not now walking in groups, and they're accessing the CBD one by one before they get their report, where they will be converging and meet their leaders and stage these demonstrations as they head to the Anniversary Towers to stage their demonstrations there at Anniversary Towers, even as they continue pushing for their irreducible minimum demands. But on the other hand, we have the police having strict instructions. Remember that yesterday President Uhuru Kenyatta directed the acting CS, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, for Interior, that is Dr. Fred Matiang'i, that he should not be cowed by any threats by NASA, and that he should work in line with the Constitution, and he should not fear taking action against anyone found going or engaging in any illegal activities. Well, Ben, I'm being told that there are some who have been spotted, and I can see a battery of journalists heading that direction. Let's just see whether we'll see them. But what we know is that police have strict instructions not to allow any of these demonstrators to enter the CBD. There is a group of police officers, that's Uhuru Park. I have my cameraman Rashid, whether he can just focus on that side. There is a group that was converging at Freedom Corner, Uhuru Park. Yes, the police have lobbied tear gas. There was a group that was trying to well, it's a group that was trying to regroup before they access the CBD. But what we know, Ben, is that the police are not allowing these. And the moment they see a group, they lobby tear gas so that they can disperse. We'll just try to get closer to that area. As I continue catching my breath, the tear gas smoke really, it's really working on us, both those who are protesting and, of course, the journalists who are working just to ensure that we bring the live pictures to our viewers. Well, the group has already dispersed, Ben, and we can spot some police officers just entering Uhuru Park. And this is not a normal day for Uhuru Park. Remember that it's around lunchtime. There are prayers around here, and that is not taking place. Even those who come to rest, they've all been dispersed. And this is a strategy that, Ben, the police are using just to ensure that no demonstrations will be taking place in the CBD, Ben.
CBD along Uhuru Highway, where police not having any of it, what the